Yaga yo. What the deal, y'all? What's happening, world? B Marsh Boxing. I'm back at it with another boxing video. This basically the aftermath, you know what I'm saying, of last night's lineal title fight between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez at 140 pounds. Of course, Shakur Stevenson, daring to be great, goes up in weight and gets his biggest, fattest payday of his career as far as and also his most high profile fight of his career. You know what I'm saying? Hold tight, y'all. Give me one sec. Sorry about that, y'all. But anyways, yeah, the man Shakur Stevenson. I always knew that he's gonna beat this guy, Teofimo Lopez, just because of the kind of caliber of fighters that Teofimo Lopez ducks. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a coincidence, if I'm not mistaken. I believe this is Teofimo Lopez's first fight on a Riyadh season, Turkey Al Sheikh promoted card, right? And if that's the case, it's because, and that's finally when he stepped up to fight a good fighter, because he's gonna get his fattest payday ever. And I believe him and Shakur, they both making between $8 to $10 million for this fight. And if you can recall, a guy like Teofimo Lopez, he was barely even making $1 million. You know what I'm saying? And he was going that type of route, that's like basically, in my opinion, what a guy like Boots Ennis been doing, you know what I mean? They're more content with making $1 million paydays, fighting guys that is easy work, you know what I mean? Guys that, that they'll definitely are favored to beat and nobodies. But a 5 to 8 to $10 million fight against a live dude who will more than likely beat them, yeah, that doesn't fit in their game plan. You know what I mean? And that's what guys like Teofimo Lopez been doing his whole career. You know what I'm saying? Teofimo Lopez is a guy. I told y'all on my post fight review, man. The likes of Jermaine Ortiz and Sandor Martin, those type of guys give him incredibly give him an incredible tough matchup. And here he is fighting against one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. And he lost every single round. It wasn't even competitive. Did y'all hear the kind of instructions his pops was giving to him in the corner? Yeah. OMG, man. Dude was talking about, where's your power, bro? Bro, where's your power? And these type of fellas think this game is called knockout, or is it called boxing? You know what I'm saying? When I heard him say that, yeah, and his son not responding back, Teofimo Lopez being the son, I knew these guys are done. They got nothing to bring to the table. Not to mention, the Pops is such a horrible, awful trainer. They went and dug up Stacy McKinley. Stacy McKinley, the old coach who used to be down with Don King and trained Mike Tyson and a plethora of fighters under Don King Promotions. Stacy McKinley was actually given way better instructions over the top of Teofimo Lopez's ear, because the Pops is right in front of him. Stacy McKinley was giving actual real boxing instructions. But the Pops is over talking him. What the Pops bring Stacy McKinley in there for? Nothing against Stacy McKinley. I like Stacy McKinley. You're a cool dude. You're OG, you're old head. But that's the kind of confidence the Pops had in himself for this major fight. He had nothing to bring to the table, no instructions, no adjustments were made. It was just a thorough ass whooping. It looked like Bud Crawford versus Cannoli, and it also looked like Teofimo Lopez versus Josh Taylor. You know what I mean? Teofimo Lopez could style on these type of white boys. These kind of stiff, upright European type of fighters. And Josh Taylor was a good fighter when he was a good fighter. You know what I mean? You check it. But Josh Taylor hasn't been the same since that fight he had, which he really lost to, what was that guy's name? I was forget Jack Catterall. That was his name. I was trying to remember it last night. It escaped my mind. And the man Josh Taylor has been losing ever since that Jack Catterall split decision, which he really lost. And Jack Catterall is a slick fighter, a guy with boxing skills, a guy with good upper body movement. He's not no upright stiff like that. You know what I'm saying? But Teofimo Lopez, man, for all that shit he was calling black people monkeys, uh, using the N word with the hard ER at the end, and basically saying in order to promote a fight, so you got to basically use racism to sell a fight. He's a POS, and that's an abbreviation, or what do you call it? Not abbreviation, excuse me. POS, that's an acronym for he's a piece of shit. Just like Ryan Garcia. Fuck both of them. You know what I'm saying? And fuck the zone too. The commentary, you see, there's been a lot of the bad commentary watching boxing over the years. That's why I miss guys like the guy on Showtime. I'm forgetting his name right now because he's no longer on TV. Al Bernstein, you know what I mean? The zone commentary yesterday, was it Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora? They were talking about Ryan Garcia, and they was like, which Ryan Garcia? Basically, they was talking about his upcoming fight with Mario Barrios. They was like, which version of what's the guy's name? Which version of Ryan Garcia will we see versus Mario Barrios? Are we gonna see the one who looks spectacular versus Devin Haney? Or are we gonna see the one who looked awful in his last fight? That's disrespectful. Why you couldn't mention Rolly Romero's name? Huh? Why you couldn't say, oh, would he look awful like he did against Rolly Romero? That was some that was bitch assness by Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora, which they're known for, no question about it. Awful commentary. And why would they say, would he look spectacular like he did versus Devin Haney? Are you guys stupid? Are you dumb? Don't you know that fight they took away the loss on Devin Haney's record because the guy, Ryan Garcia, tested positive for steroids. But they're not going to mention that. And when I heard that, I was like, damn, these dudes are just as well POSs, just like the man Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez. But what's new, man? That's boxing media for you. I'm saying. That's why we got to come on these YouTube streets and give the real boxing fans, because only real boxing fans come to YouTube to listen to boxing news updates and what's going on in the boxing world. You got to be a boxing head. And that's why we guys like us, let me say me for this instance, we're gonna come and tell the real about these prejudiced, biased commentary and even Teofimo Lopez, man. These guys are so damn, man. You see, did y'all see when they came into the ring? If Teofimo Lopez is quote unquote from Brooklyn, New York, and the other guy Shakur's from Newark, New Jersey, why did Shakur Stevenson get a lot of standing ovation or applause from the crowd? And why was Teofimo Lopez kind of low and there was even booing him when he came into the ring, doing all that breakdance and stuff? It was cool and all. He had some nice music. He had, I give you fair warning, beware, the big pun joint, classic joint, some classic DMX joints. He had some Black Rob, Whoa, all that. But this guy's not. I've been told y'all for years, This dude is not a New Yorker. He's not a Brooklynite. I know Brooklyn dudes in real life, and I've known Brooklyn fighters since I was watching guys like what's his name, Mark Breland back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. This guy, or what's my man's name? Junior Jones. You know what I mean? This guy's not a Brooklynite. He's not a New Yorker, man. There's nothing about Teofimo Lopez that exudes or that he's a New Yorker. What's the guy who got smoked by Hamza Shiraz? What's that guy's name? Edgar Berlanga? Berlanga is a New Yorker. You could tell he is. Yeah, I'm saying this guy Teofimo Lopez moved from Brooklyn to New York to Florida at like 6 years old. Okay, that's who he is. He really a Florida boy, and that's okay. That's well and fine. You know what I mean? Florida got some live dudes too, but I say he's not a Brooklyn dude because he just exudes too much corniness in the cornball. I mean, just look at the racist shit he's said out of his mouth. You know what I'm saying? He's a cornball as far as even his business mentality. You know what I'm saying? Taking these itty bitty paydays to avoid the live dudes like Devin Haney, Keyshawn Davis, Shakur Stevenson. I don't know if I should even mention Tank because he's a nobody too. But he ain't fighting no real black fighters until last night. Until last night. Y'all hit the thumbs up when y'all come in this joint. Don't do that eavesdropping shit. That's for the birds. And I know you ain't a bird if you gonna come listen to B Marsh Boxing. Because only live dudes come up in this piece. Yeah. And when I say that, you go see somebody drop, hit the thumbs up when y'all come in this joint. Don't be on that nut ass shit. You know what I'm saying? You check it. Don't come in this joint eavesdropping. You know what I mean? But yeah, and I say that to say it's not that a Florida dude is corny in anything, but this dude is just not a Brooklynite. He's not from Brooklyn. He is just a clown. You know what I'm saying? And he got what was coming to him. You know what I mean? So Shakur Stevenson, he did what he had to do. And fuck y'all who ain't hitting the thumbs up, man. Y'all some crabs. You coming in this joint just eavesdropping. Can't even hit the thumbs up. Not like it's either going to make or break me, but shit, when I go on somebody's channel who I'm listening to their live, I hit the thumbs up off rip. I guess y'all ain't built like that, whoever y'all is. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? The man Shakur Stevens, I'm sorry, Teofimo Lopez, he has problems with the slick boxer. He tries to claim that he is, or he tries to style and profile like he is when he's fighting upright stiffs, right? But when it comes to a dude who is really him, when it comes to this boxing shit, he's avoided them his whole career. You know what I'm saying? And until last night, and you could see why he's been avoiding these type of fighters his whole career. You know what I mean? He thought guys like Sandor Martin and them was sweet. Jermaine Ortiz, these guys arguably beat him. For sure, Sandor Martin beat him on my card. You know what I'm saying? But Shakur Stevenson, and this is what I want to say, and this probably some of y'all who coming in this joint eavesdropping. Do not jump on the bandwagon of Shakur Stevenson. And I'm talking about some of y'all black uploaders, YouTubers who be talking crazy about this guy because you was picking sides and y'all pick Tank Davis side. You know what I mean? I don't pick sides. I just go with who I think is a dude who's doing the right thing in his boxing career. You know what I'm saying? And who is taking on and calling out and taking on big challenges. That's exactly what Tank doesn't do. I ain't pick no sides, just like I ain't pick no sides with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. But Errol Spence bitch assness just told me everything I need to know. And I just needed to see him get in that ring so he could get his ass handed to him on a platter. And that's exactly what happened in 2023. And Slim ain't been back in the ring since. You know what I'm saying? Bruce Gas Boxing, what up? What the deal? Salute, my G. Salute to you as well. You heard? But yeah, the man Shakur Teofimo Lopez, he just embarrassed himself last night in Madison Square Garden. His performance coming into the ring was 20 times better than his performance in the ring. And when I saw that dude come out of wherever he was coming out, when he was about to go on that little ring walk, I looked at his face. The moment was too big, and he had to snap up out of it. Bang! Like they flicked the lights on when he started dancing, doing that break dancing stuff. And like I said, I like break dancing, man. I grew up in hip hop era, from the 80s and things. I remember as a kid trying to break dance and things like that. You know what I mean? But that guy, even when he did it on the stage at the weigh-in, that guy had no confidence that he could beat the man Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson was on the front foot. And like I said, some of y'all who was talking crazy, just like y'all talk crazy about Bud, you black uploaders, YouTubers, right? Please don't hop on this guy's Bozak. Don't ride his wave. If you wasn't down with Shakur Stevenson like I was from the Olympics when I covered him fighting that Cuban fighter who became a pro, I'm forgetting his name because he lost his first professional fight. And maybe somebody in the chat could tell me the guy's name because I'm forgetting his name right now. Um, I thought Shakur Stevenson won that fight. I thought he should have came home with the gold medal in Brazil 2016 Olympics. But here he is, 10 years later, a champion in 4 different weight classes, y'all. 4 different weight classes. What your man Tank Davis done? How many regular titles did he hold at 135 and 130? Who the fuck did he beat at 135 to be a lightweight champion? Oh, I know. The little guy that he brought up in weight, Leo Santa Cruz, who was beating his ass till he got trigger happy and left his face all exposed and he got clocked. He was winning the fight throughout the whole duration of that 4 rounds, but he didn't protect himself. You know what I mean? Yeah, check it. So Tank ain't beat nobody to win no strap in his career, and that's on dead dogs. You know what I mean? On dogs. But don't jump on Shakur Stevenson Bozak now, y'all. Please keep the same energy. Hope he loses every single fight. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys talked crazy about this guy. Now this guy, all he's going to do is ascend and ascend and ascend higher up in the pound for pound rankings. And believe you me, one day this guy will be a number one pound for pound fighter on the planet Earth. If he's not already in the top 5, you know what I'm saying? And I knew this. I knew he would be a top pound for pound fighter before he had even had one professional fight. You know what I'm saying? You check it? I knew this guy has the skills to pay the bills. He's surrounded by legends as far as Andre Ward, Tank Davis. Excuse me, I said Tank Davis. Scratch that. Andre Ward, Bud Crawford, his manager, Jay Prince. You know what I'm saying? He's gotten advice from Floyd Mayweather and stuff. Floyd Mayweather even said that Shakur Stevenson will beat Tank Davis in a fight, to the point Tank Davis got in his feelings and he said he'll knock out Floyd Mayweather for saying that. That's his opinion, you nut-ass nigga. Why don't you get in the ring with Shakur Stevenson and prove us wrong, prove Floyd Mayweather wrong, and get a big fat-ass payday? You ain't gonna do that. Shakur Stevenson is more in the business of going to look for hoes at the strip club that he's trying to cuff. You know what I'm saying? These hoes is on the damn stripper pole, and he's mad that the broad is outside working. You know what I'm saying? And that's because that's the broad he chose, a stripper. He mad she out there working, and he trying to tell her, man, I knew where I'd find you, trying to take her home like a big old simp. Nigga, you out of order, man. I don't respect dudes like that. On dead dogs, on GP, I don't. You know what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson definitely fixed his teeth. He's getting paper. Remember, he had that big gap in his teeth? He don't have that gap no more, so he's moving up in the world. Teofimo Lopez, I think he's broken. I don't think this guy will ever be the same again. Can he become a world champion ever again? I'd have to look at the landscape and see if he's going to move up to 147 pounds. Look, maybe if he gets in the ring with a stiff European, yeah, I'm saying, because only guys, only live dudes he has beat on his resume is Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor has been slipping ever since, and he was slipping before the Teofimo Lopez fight, and Lomachenko's down 7 rounds to zip on my card, but the last 5 rounds, he brought the pain to the man Teofimo Lopez and was beating his ass. You check it, he just started way too late. You know what I mean? Bruce Gasboxer says Shakur not gun shy anymore. It's just a matter of progression, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I don't think he was ever gun shy. He was just a very defensive fighter. You know what I mean? But look, look what he did to the guy, that Mexican American guy from Phoenix, Arizona area. I'm forgetting his name because after Shakur was done with him, this guy's been fucking irrelevant. This dude, the dude who's tested positive for steroids and he fought the Brazilian fighter Conceições. Uh, the dude who keeps reptiles and things, crocodiles, alligators, and snakes and stuff. That guy was a bigger puncher than Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson dropped him and beat his ass easily. You know what I'm saying? Only fight that I could say that Shakur Stevenson, um, was heavily on the back foot and not engaging as much, even though he was winning rounds. It wasn't very a very entertaining fight. Was when he fought the Dominican Edwin De Los Santos. When he fought Zepeda, man, he stepped to Zepeda on the front foot, man, beat his ass. Yeah, I'm saying. So I don't considerably say I wouldn't say he was gun shy. I would say he was very defensive minded and looking for counter shots to counter, to hit them pop shots. You know what I'm saying. But, he's only getting. Did you see his body yesterday? As far as comparing him with Teofimo Lopez, he ain't look like no small dude. That dude is filled up. And as far as his upper body strength, you know what I mean? And this is a guy I've been watching since he was a teenager. So I've seen the maturation and the progression in his physique as he's getting older. He's been gotten his man strength. And yesterday, he really looked like he was a bigger fighter than the man Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? You check it, and that's why he said in his corner, man, I'm telling his grandpa, man, I'm stronger than him. Yeah, you see that? Valdez, thank you, Bruce. Thank you so much. You see, we got some very knowledgeable people in the chat. Exactly. Oscar Valdez. What that guy done ever since? I mean, all he did was losing the unification. It's not like he couldn't go up to the next weight class, and he has done absolutely nothing. And I believe that's the same thing that's going to happen with the man Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? I think Teofimo Lopez has been broken. His best days are behind him. He wasn't who he claimed he was. And God don't like ugly. He fucked around and found out. You know what I mean? All that nut-ass racist shit you was talking, sooner than later, you going to catch your judgment day. And it came in Madison Square Garden, a place you fake claim you're from, New York City. You know what I mean? Go back to Florida and regroup. You know what I mean? Go sit, or is it Arkansas? One of them two, right? He better go back and regroup, man. He'll probably be out the ring for a whole year. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Top Rank ain't got a home as far as a broadcasting home. I've seen Top Rank cards on Tubi. You know what I'm saying? If you have Tubi, download the Tubi app, and sometimes Top Rank fights be on Tubi. You check it. This guy's going to fade into obscurity, languish in obscurity, and Shakur Stevenson is going to just ascend in the pound for pound rankings. And also guys like Devin Haney. I think the world is theirs in this boxing game as far as they got the world in their oyster. And it'll only be on them if they ever do lose. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they'll run into a better fighter. As of right now at 147, I don't see no better fighter than Devin Haney. I believe he beats all of them. Shakur Stevenson at 140. There's fights out there like guys like Africa, a.k.a. Richard Hitchinson. There's guys like the white boy who just beat, what's his name? And I covered that fight. He just beat the steroid cheater as well, Subriel Matias. You know what I'm saying? But there's also fights for him at 135. Maybe he might fight Pitbull Cruz. I don't know. There's plenty of fights between 135 and 140 for Shakur Stevenson. And I don't think it's a clear cut that he beats those guys only off the strength of he'll have to come up in weight again. So, he might have some difficulties. Not that he had any difficulties with Teofimo Lopez, but I know Teofimo Lopez style and what gives him problems. That's why I wasn't even really surprised at the outcome. I was just surprised the guy showed no heart. And you guys say, just like Conor Benn, right? Right? The race baiting fans, they're going to say Shakur Stevenson runs and he can't punch. They said that about Floyd Mayweather. They always say that about these black fighters. Did you see the man Teofimo Lopez eye yesterday? Yeah, that was from that right hand jab. from the southpaw stance. Right hand jab, busted his eye up, cut him on the top lid of his eye. And it was just basically, man, he made that man look like a novice, you know what I mean? You check it. So, like I said, man, Teofimo Lopez didn't get the applaud that you would think he would if he is from New York City, which he's not. He's a Florida boy. And Shakur Stevenson got all the adulation and all the applause coming into the ring as a guy from across the Hudson River from Newark, New Jersey. You know what I mean? Shakur Stevenson got the skills to pay the bills. I like that jab he was throwing to the face, and also how. Did you notice also Teofimo Lopez couldn't get away from that left hand? You know what I'm saying? He was right there. He kept getting clipped with it. But Shakur Stevenson didn't even have to throw mad power shots, even though he did land plenty. But he controlled this fight with the jab solely. Only with the jab did all that damage, and it set up his left hand where Teofimo Lopez was walking right into it. I would have loved to see Shakur go for the stoppage, like how Keyshawn was looking for the stoppage from round 10 of his fight. You know what I mean? So I enjoyed the fight yesterday. This is the aftermath video. My conclusion is Teofimo Lopez only took this fight because of the payday. It's his first fight with Turki Al-Sheikh, Riyadh season, and he took it because of the payday, because every other fight he's been fighting for chump change against guys who him and his pops know and feel that they could beat. You know what I'm saying? But when they had to face a live dude, they've ducked it the whole time, only until Turki Al-Sheikh comes and throws that paper at him. You know what I mean? And gives him a fat payday. Be March Boxing. Big ups to everybody in the chat. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out of here. Gone.